Cycling's a weird sport, isn't it? In a sport of tradition, team names feel like they change every year. Sure, some teams like Cofidis, FDJ and Quickstep have kept their identity, but there's one team who have been largely forgotten.
He sees the gap is big enough, he can celebrate. A Basque rider winning in the Basque country.
Terrific ride for Samuel Sanchez. He'll climb up the overall a little bit tonight.
Vigier-Motte from Euskaltel is going to rescue their Giro d'Italia by the look of it.
I think it's time we took them back to the top. Hello everyone, Taylorson here and welcome back to MyRider. Noah Peeters did a good job in Tour de France 2025, but in Tour de France 2026 we're going with a new rider and a new team. Maxim Vigier-Motte is our Frenchman's name, and he's hoping to become the next Paul Seixas. More of an all-rounder, but he's hoping one day to win the Tour de France and win Paris-Roubaix. Here is the schedule that the team have sent to us. We're not going to the Vuelta, but we will be going to World Tour races like the Tour of the Basque Country and like Paris-Nice and the Dauphiné. So it should be an exciting first season where we get to learn more about ourselves and about our teammates. All that to come, but in this episode we will be starting our season in Oman with the Tour of Oman, but first, the Muscat Classic.
Hello everyone. Well, here we are. The new cycling season is upon us. And what better location to start it than here? Muscat, the capital city of Oman, nestled between golden mountains and the banks of the Gulf of Oman. The Muscat Classic kicks things off with the first race of the year. The riders are eager to test their legs and achieve their ambitions. The peloton sets off under the Middle Eastern sun, and a new chapter is about to be written.
So we're underway then for the first race of the season, and the first objective of the season was to get somebody into the breakaway, and we have done just that. Chomin Juaristi is in what is now a group of 3 because Laurens Rex has just been dropped on this climb, with Louis Barret and Alberto Bettiol alongside him, but it looks like this breakaway is absolutely not going the distance because the gap is 2 minutes and 10. 57 kilometers to go and riders are falling by the wayside in the peloton. Meanwhile, up front, Alberto Bettiol is driving the pace on, which is a little bit weird because there is a group including Scaroni trying to chase their way back on. Louis Barret at the moment looks like he can keep up with it as we come to the front, and Louis Barret actually sitting on the back of Alberto Bettiol. The chasing group have just been reeled in, but this race is all over the road, and it's not good for the breakaway because at the moment, 20 seconds, we've not got much of an advantage at all, but we're going to try and just keep the gap for as long as possible, show the jersey at the front of the race, and see what happens at the end of the stage. Barret is dropped, now it is just us and Bettiol left. Well, if there was a most combative rider prize at the Muscat Classic, we will have picked it up as there's an attack from the peloton that includes plenty of riders, so they have the incentive to go, although at the moment they aren't, which is a little bit weird, although the peloton have still given them 17 seconds advantage, but I reckon they should reel that in because it's a dangerous move that's gone up the road, including Scaroni, Fortunato, Stora, so there are good riders in here. Let's see if they are allowed any leash whatsoever. At the moment, it looks as if so, because the gap keeps on growing, and we're not going to be in this group for very long. We're holding on to the back wheel of Ben Tullett. Astana have got 3 riders in here, and are not riding that hard on the front. I've got no idea why, but we are going to gradually lose the wheel here. Finally, they're coming forward with Roger Adria, who has attacked the group on this climb, and we've got nothing left. We have no red, no blue, and we won't be able to hold the wheels, I don't think, if Astana want to up the pace and try and catch Roger Adria, who has attacked the group, but the group have no interest in chasing him down. This is very weird, but there we are, and we are slowly getting dropped and reeled in by the peloton. It took a while for the peloton to catch, and the gap eventually got to 1 minute and 30, but on the final climb, the peloton have caught up with the leading group, and now new attacks can go off the front. This time it's Lennart van Eetvelt lighting the match. Let's see if anybody else can follow. We are with Bera-Setegi, and at the moment, he has not enough energy to make it over this climb. We're going to give it a best of a try as well. Try and follow a couple of riders and just see what happens, but the pace doesn't look like it's going to go down anytime soon, especially because Lennart van Eetvelt is now on his own up front. So will he be able to hold this one to the line? We have gone pop, as has Arjen Livians, who was in that 3-rider Astana breakaway earlier. But let's see how it ends up. Lennart van Eetvelt then, the man that lit the blue touch paper for this race on the final climb, has gone off the front and is trying to time trial his way to victory. He is a GC rider. He isn't too great on the flat, but he's got to try and hold the gap and put out the maximum wattage he possibly can. There's the Flamme Rouge, and Izagirre leads the catch from the chasing group, but do they have anything left for a sprint? Lennart van Eetvelt certainly does, and he flies past them, comes towards the line, and it is a comfortable victory for Lennart van Eetvelt of Lotto Intermarché. Bera-Setegi comes over the line, and it will be 28th place for the Euskaltel Euskadi rider on the first race of the season. I'm going to simulate because I believe every one of my riders should be able to make it. It might be a bit touch and go with the last couple though, but I think we should be fine. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He's not even using his blue. Oh. So Lennart van Eetvelt and Lotto Intermarché, of course Noah Peeters' old team, win the first race of MyRider, the Muscat Classic, won then by Van Eetvelt with Gaudu in second and Stora third, Gegat fourth and Nielsen Paulus in fifth. Bera-Setegi 28th position, 2 minutes and 20 seconds down on the leaders, which means there's a lot of work to do. Not only that, but because he finishes outside the time limit on the stage, Maxim Vigier-Motte achieves no objectives and gets no stat upgrades for the next race. Maybe the Tour of Oman might be more difficult than I first thought. The first two stages at the race were uphill sprints, but this one suited the heavier riders, and Javier Bera-Setegi of Euskaltel Euskadi pulled off an upset by winning the first stage and moving into the red jersey. His early sprint meant that he held off the rest of the sprinters, with Christophe Laporte in second and Emilien Jonier in third. Stage 2 was a lot more difficult and pointy in the profile, and that saw the heavier sprinters fall by the wayside, including Javier Bera-Setegi in the red jersey, who found the stage just too difficult. That meant it was an opportunity for the pure punchers to give it a try, and Romain Gregoire won the stage with a move on the left-hand side of the road. He held off other punchers such as Mauro Schmid and Alberto Bettiol to take the stage win and move into the lead of the race, while Bera-Setegi had to settle with just 1 day in red. And so you join us during the final knockings of Stage 3, where Chomin Huaristi is in contention for the general classification, just 7 seconds down on the road, and he's going to try and get those seconds back on this stage, an attempt to resurrect that red jersey that was on the shoulders of our sprinter Javier Bera-Setegi. We're going to go for a small move on the final climb, use the downhill to our advantage and try and launch a bigger attack off the front. And at the moment, only Rudy Mollard can follow. We're going to have a look back and see what the damage is, and it's Total Energy that are trying to bring this one back for Emilien Jonier. He's probably the best sprinter in the group, still in there alongside Christophe Laporte. Of course, they were second and third behind Bera-Setegi on stage 1, but we've got a little bit of a gap over this final climb. We've just got to keep enough in the tank, I think, and hold off Mollard. As long as we get down this descent fine. This corner I usually struggle on. It's a right-hander and I've gone a little bit too deep and clipped the outside, and that might cost us. on this stage because we've lost so much momentum on this descent. The rest of the peloton are flying past us, and we're just going to have to give this a try from far back. And we've got no sprint stats compared to Jounier and Laporte. They've gone flying off the front. We're going to try and get in the wheels and hope they stop, but they don't. It's Jounier that takes the win. Laporte once again coming close, but not quite getting there. So Jounier wins it ahead of Roger Adria in second and Christophe Laporte with another podium place, but not a victory. However, with the 4 seconds of bonus, he does move himself into the red jersey. So that is a positive for Visma Lease-A-Bike and the Frenchman. We have moved ourselves almost into the top 10. We're still in 11th place, but we're getting closer. Roger Adria, the only rider to jump us into the top 10.
It's completely flat, so it will come down to a mass sprint almost certainly. Good luck out there.
Stage 4 is upon us, and you could see that it's Maxim Vigier-Motte's turn to be in the breakaway, and he's got some good company, the likes of Roel van Sint-Maartensdijk, Tim Marsman, and Rune Hederots. But the amount of flat trucks in the breakaway were just too much for us, and with 46 kilometres to go and a minute 30 gap to the peloton, we say goodbye to our breakaway compatriots and drop off the front of the race. This was the first opportunity that we had to test ourselves against the best riders in the world, and we have comfortably failed that test. But we were never going to win anyway, I don't think, because the gap never really got too high, and the stage itself is very long. And with a long stage comes plenty of lactic acid in the legs of the sprinters, so it could be a good chance for somebody to launch a surprise, but at the moment, Uno X are trying to stop that from happening. They've got Stian Fredheim to go for at the moment, and they're forming their train up on the left-hand side of the road. Tudor have got their train on the right-hand side of the road, but have just been passed by Visma Lease-A-Bike, trying to set up Niklas Behrens and Christophe Laporte, but Tudor have once again gone to the front. Fredheim is being launched at the moment in the middle. Can he get past his lead-out man? Other riders are coming through. Gaviria on the right-hand side is going to take it. In the end, having too much for the rest of the sprinters' crop and winning the stage. Here's the view from Javier Berasategui, who managed to serve the wheels quite well. He didn't end up picking the right one, but he launched his sprint at a positive time. Plenty of Uno X riders up there for UCI points, but Gaviria comfortably wins the stage ahead of Arvid de Klein in second. And we take an impressive third place with Javier Berasategui. It's not enough to move us really up there in the green jersey classification though, because Christophe Laporte was 6th, with Gerben Tyson and Juan Sebastian Molano rounding out the top 5. Elsewhere though, we've moved into the top 10 overall because Luke Plapp has crashed out. But with the final stage being a mountain, this top 10 is going to change drastically, I think. On the slopes of Green Mountain, 2 riders are head and shoulders above the rest. It's 8th place Sepp Kuss in the general classification at the moment on the front, and 5th place in the general classification is just behind him. Lorenzo Fortunato started the day just outside the top 10, but he is the rider just in the background of shot coming round the corner now, and he stands to gain the most in the GC, but the race for the overall classification win is between these 2 riders, the American Sepp Kuss and Valentin Paré-Pantra of Soudal Quickstep. At the moment, it's Sepp Kuss that is on the front of Green Mountain at the moment. It's 5.7 kilometres at 10.4%, but the percentages start to get really steep at this point into the barriered section. We will soon be coming underneath the Flamme Rouge, and these 2 will duke it out for the stage win, and of course the bonus seconds at the top of the climb mean that whoever wins this stage will win the overall general classification. They're both tied at the moment on the same time. The red jersey is far down the mountain, So it's going to be one of these two that takes complete honours at the end of this stage. Here is the Flamme Rouge, and Valentin Paré-Pantra has come to the front just to increase the tempo slightly. Both riders out of the saddle now, and Valentin Paré-Pantra waiting for his moment to strike. Sepp Kuss stuck to the wheel for the moment, had a couple of wobbles on the bike over the time that he was at the front, but now he comes back to the front of this race, and Valentin Paré-Pantra now is the rider that has to sit on and try and live with the tempo set by the Visma Lease-A-Bike rider who had Laporte in the red jersey at the start of today. Can Kuss move into the red jersey at the end? They sprint for the line, and it's on the bike throw across the line. I don't know who's got it. We're going to have to go to the photo finish. And indeed, it is Sepp Kuss that gets there just about ahead of Valentin Paré-Pantra. So Kuss wins the stage. And so concludes our first episode of MyRider, with Sepp Kuss winning the Tour of Oman by 4 seconds ahead of Valentin Paré-Pantra, with Lorenzo Fortunato third and the Muscat Classic being won by Lennart Van Eetvelt. If you did enjoy this one, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you guys are new, because this is going to be a series that lasts throughout the game cycle this year. So stay alert for upcoming episodes. But for now, stay safe, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.